She was 17. Young. Bright. Unapologetically herself. To thousands online, Alana Brooks, known by her handle Lonnie B, was more than a face on a screen, she was energy in motion. Every video, every dance, every laugh she posted felt electric. She made ordinary moments extraordinary, her personality vivid and disarming. With over 300,000 followers on TikTok, she wasn't just popular, she was loved. But behind that light, behind the filters and music and hairbrush microphones, was a teenage girl, a daughter, a sister, a friend. Someone with dreams that reached beyond the edges of her phone screen. And one winter afternoon in Columbus, Ohio, those dreams were silenced. Permanently. It was just after 5:30 p.m. on January 19, 2025, when a 911 call came through from the parking lot of Easton Town Center, one of the city's busiest shopping districts. The caller's voice was frantic, "A girl's been shot. She's not breathing." Within minutes, police and paramedics arrived. The scene that awaited them was chaotic, a parked sedan surrounded by teenagers, one of them screaming, another frozen in shock. Inside the passenger seat, a young girl slumped lifeless, her skin pale under the flickering lights of the nearby storefronts. She was 17. Her name was Alana Brooks. First responders fought to bring her back. CPR. Defibrillation. Oxygen. 30 minutes of desperate effort. But it wasn't enough. At 6:05 p.m., Alana was pronounced dead at the scene. Cause: single gunshot wound to the chest. News spread within hours. The influencer community online was stunned. Her videos, bright, goofy, confident, began flooding feeds across the country, now captioned with heartbreak emojis and crying faces. Her fans couldn't believe it. Alana wasn't supposed to die. Not like this. Not here. And yet, she had. In a public parking lot. In broad daylight. Surrounded by people who claimed to be her friends. The Easton Town Center was still lit up when detectives arrived. Bright store lights illuminated the wet asphalt, reflecting off shattered glass and a spatter of blood just beside the silver sedan. Police cordoned off the area with yellow tape, and the once bustling shopping center fell eerily silent. Witnesses described seeing a group of teenagers in the car before the shot rang out. No argument. No shouting. No signs of struggle. Just a muffled bang, and then chaos. Detectives from the Columbus Police Homicide Unit began piecing the scene together. The car belonged to a 19-year-old boy named Marcus Hill. Inside, they found a pink phone case, a makeup bag, and a small-caliber handgun on the floorboard, still warm. There were 4 people in the car when the shot was fired. All between the ages of 17 and 20. All detained for questioning. None arrested. The story they told was fractured. Inconsistent. One said Alana was holding the gun. Another claimed Marcus was showing it off. A third said it just went off. No one could, or would, explain why the gun was there at all. Detectives noted early inconsistencies. There were no fingerprints from Alana on the weapon. No gunpowder residue on her hands. The wound pattern suggested close-range firing, no more than 2 feet away. It didn't look like an accident. It looked like someone had pulled the trigger. But no one was talking. To understand what happened, investigators needed to understand who Alana was, and what she had been caught up in. Born in 2007, Alana was the kind of girl people noticed. Not because she sought attention, but because she radiated it effortlessly. She had dreams of becoming a media personality, someone who could turn her charisma into a career. She loved fashion, music, and her followers. But she also carried the weight of being a teenage girl growing up online, where admiration can turn into envy overnight. Over time, she had begun hanging out with a different crowd, older teens with cars, money, and connections. Among them was Marcus Hill, a 19-year-old known around East Columbus for his loud energy, expensive sneakers, and bad reputation. Marcus was charming, confident. And trouble. He wasn't a stranger to law enforcement. Minor arrests for shoplifting and disorderly conduct dotted his record. Nothing serious, until now. But those who knew him said he had a temper. And he didn't like to be embarrassed. Weeks before Alana's death, the two had reportedly argued online. She had accused him of carrying a gun to a party. He laughed it off publicly, but privately, he sent her messages that investigators would later describe as threatening. "You think you can clown me like that?" one of his texts read. "You don't know what I'll do." No one thought he meant it literally. Until January 19th. That day, Alana posted her final video, a bright clip of her styling her hair, lip-syncing to a trending song. The caption read, "It's just another good day." By evening, she was gone. The case quickly drew attention from the public and the press. A teenage influencer shot dead in a mall parking lot, it was headline material. But beneath the media noise, the Columbus Police Department was working quietly. Detectives seized the phones of everyone in the car. They extracted text messages, deleted photos, and location data. One phone had been wiped clean minutes after the shooting. Another had messages erased between 4 o'clock and 5 p.m. Then came the first break. A short, 6-second video clip was found in a deleted folder. It showed Alana laughing in the passenger seat. Music played faintly in the background. Then a male voice, angry, muffled, unintelligible. The clip cut off mid-laugh. The timestamp, 5:24 p.m. Just 6 minutes before the 911 call. Audio analysis confirmed the voice belonged to Marcus Hill. When detectives confronted him, Marcus insisted it was an accident. He said he had the gun, but it went off while he was messing around. He claimed he panicked and ran because he was scared. But physical evidence told another story. The gun, a 9mm ghost gun, unregistered, untraceable, had no safety mechanism. It required deliberate pressure on the trigger to fire. And the trajectory of the bullet showed the weapon was aimed directly at Alana's chest. Police now had enough to classify the death as homicide. A warrant was issued for Marcus Hill. But by then, he was gone. His car was found abandoned outside Reynoldsburg 2 days later. Inside were clothes, a burner phone, and $800 in cash. He had vanished. Detectives coordinated with federal authorities, launching a regional search. Rumors surfaced that Marcus had crossed into Kentucky. Others said he was hiding in an apartment on the south side of Columbus. Then, on February 23, after weeks of silence, the break came. Acting on a tip, U.S. Marshals raided a small apartment near North Linden. Inside, they found Marcus Hill, alone, asleep, with a backpack packed to run again. Inside the bag, another ghost gun. He was taken into custody without incident. The courtroom was filled to capacity the day Marcus Hill appeared for arraignment. The cameras captured everything, the hunched posture, the quiet demeanor, the face of a 19-year-old who had become the focus of a nationwide outcry. He pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder. The prosecution came prepared. They had the deleted video, the threatening text messages, the witness testimony, and the ballistics report. They argued that Alana's death was the result of reckless behavior, not an accident, but an act of anger disguised as play. The defense countered, claiming Marcus had no intent to kill. That he was showing off, that the gun fired by mistake, that panic drove him to flee. They asked the jury to see a boy, not a killer. But the evidence was unforgiving. A forensic specialist testified that Alana's hands were clean of gunpowder residue, meaning she hadn't held the gun. A digital forensics expert showed how Marcus's phone was factory reset less than 20 minutes after the shooting. Then came the witness, the 17-year-old girl who had cracked during interrogation. Her voice shook as she told the court what happened. Marcus had waved the gun. Alana told him to stop. He laughed. He pointed it at her. Then, the shot. There were no second chances. The courtroom fell silent as the jury watched the 6-second clip again, the laughter, the voice, the abrupt end. And then, the verdict. After 5 hours of deliberation, Marcus Hill was found guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 18 years to life in prison. As the judge delivered the sentence, Alana's mother wept openly. Her brother sat beside her, holding her hand, his face blank with disbelief. Justice had come, but the cost was irreversible. In the weeks that followed, Columbus mourned. Vigils were held in parks, at schools, and outside the Easton Mall where she died. Hundreds attended, holding candles, wearing hoodies with her smiling face printed across the front. Balloons floated into the sky, carrying messages that read, "Fly high, Lonnie." Online, her videos became a digital memorial, millions of views, thousands of comments. You deserved better. Justice for Lonnie B. Gone but never forgotten. Lawmakers cited her case when discussing stricter controls on ghost guns, weapons that can be built from kits, untraceable and devastatingly easy to obtain. A bill nicknamed Lonnie's Law passed later that year, closing loopholes in firearm component sales. But for Alana's family, no law, no verdict, no sentence could undo what happened. Her room remained untouched, her makeup brushes lined neatly, her favorite jacket still draped over her chair. Her mother often said she could still feel her presence there, the music, the laughter, the spark that used to fill every corner of their small home. 17 years old. Full of life. Gone in an instant. A single decision. A single trigger pull. A ripple of pain that would never fade. Her story is a reminder of how fragile the line is between youth and tragedy. Between laughter and silence. Between fame and the final headline. In the end, justice was served. But closure? That's harder to find. Because what lingers after stories like this isn't just the grief, it's the echo. The silence after the shot. The absence of a voice that once filled the room. Alana Brooks, Lonnie B. will be remembered not for the way she died, but for the way she lived. For the light she carried. For the joy she gave. For the truth that she mattered. If her story moved you, share it. Speak her name. Because every time we tell their stories, we keep their voices alive, and remind the world that some lights never truly go out. This is dark true crime. And this was the silence after the shot.